Hey, what's up you guys, it's me Sanne and I'm back with another beauty video, and today we're doing another 3 looks 1 palette review. We're gonna be reviewing a new budget palette today, which is another palette of FAB Factory. I know I've reviewed FAB Factory on my channel a lot. I'm not always the biggest fan of dupes, and FAB Factory is entirely based on duping Huda Beauty. With this brand I don't really mind it, because this brand isn't on social media, it isn't out there, it isn't advertising these palettes as their own and thereby robbing Huda Beauty of their revenue. They are, however, putting out quality palettes with very popular color stories and making them available to a lot more people, because these are just very affordable, and they're in every Action store, so they're in a big part of Europe and just available to a lot of people. I have another FAB Factory palette for you, so that means I also have another Huda Beauty dupe for you. This time it's the Galactic Sparkle palette, which is a dupe for the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. It's been on the Action website since like February, and when I saw it I knew I had to have it, because Mercury Retrograde is the only palette of Huda Beauty that actually interested me enough to maybe buy it, but I didn't want to buy it. I've been waiting for this one a long time. It hasn't been in stores in the Netherlands for so long, at least not in the stores I've been to like 6 different stores and they never had it. Probably some like delivery issues or something like that. But they finally had it in my store here, and they had like a bunch of them, so I got one finally. I've been waiting, and this is it on the inside. You can immediately see it's a Mercury Retrograde dupe. Just the iconic minty blue shades over here in the purple. It's very obvious. So I'm gonna be doing 3 looks with this palette today. I'm gonna try out a bunch of the shades. I'm gonna try to do it as differently as possible, to try as many shades as possible. So let's get into the FAB Factory Galactic Sparkle palette review and the 3 looks I'm gonna do. So first off, I want to mention the packaging of this palette. I love this so much. I've loved this with the other 2 big palettes as well. Just the shiny covering that changes color in different lights. This just looks nice. On the inside, instead of a mirror, you have a tutorial thing, which, you know, it's fine. I don't mind that there's no mirror, because I don't like using big palettes for mirrors. I like using smaller mirrors. These are the shades. I haven't really checked how many of them are actually similar to Huda Beauty. And I'm just gonna mention this shade is the exact same shade as in the other 2 palettes. It's a very wet, creamy formula, very flaky. It's an absolutely beautiful shade. It's brown and it has pink and green sparkles in it. It's lovely. It's one of my favorite eyeshadows. But the other 2 palettes actually also have a purple version of that shade, and this one doesn't. This one actually has this shade, a very white, icy inner corner highlight shade. And this is in the same formula as those other shades. And I'm very happy that they changed up the color of that formula and tried something new. So I'm very excited to see how that performs in the eyes. I do have swatches already of this palette. I'm not going to swatch it live, because then it'll get all sorts of messy over here. So I'm just going to show pictures of the swatches. I was actually fairly impressed. This palette doesn't really have any very deep shades or anything, so nothing really to be worried about that. They're also not very inclusive, but that's besides the point, I guess. The shades are all very pinkish toned and lovely. I actually really like that. Most of the shades also feel very creamy, and the shimmers are just stunning. So I'm very excited to try this out, and I'm just gonna jump into the first look. I think I'm gonna do something with pink and purple tones, something with more of the blue tones, and something a bit more like brown and neutral. So we're just gonna get into it. I've already done all of my base makeup and I've applied a primer to my eyes. I always use an eyeshadow primer. I'm using a concealer this time. I didn't set it. That's the way I do my makeup on the daily, so that is also the way I'm testing these eyeshadows to give them a fair chance. We're just gonna jump into it, and I'm gonna focus on the pink shades first. I don't know why I've bought this for the blue shades, And for some reason while I was swatching, I was so drawn to all the pinky tones. I just need to try the pinky tones first. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna go in with a very fluffy blending brush and into this pink shade, which is the shade No Gravity. And I'm just gonna be blending that all over the crease. It's a very soft, more cool toned pink. It's a nice shade of pink that I don't think I have yet in my collection. It is applying quite well. It's blending nicely. You just need to build up the color a bit more. Okay, so I've applied that pink shade. It blends beautifully. It isn't like very out there, but it's a cute shade. Very subtle. Very lovely. So we're gonna try deepen that up a tiny bit with this shade, which is the shade Universe. I feel like this is a bit more cool toned on the skin than it looks in the palette. But I'm just using that in the outer corner. And for soft looks like this, I love using a very fluffy blending brush just because it makes the shadows very blown out and soft as well. And it just fits the colors so well. And I just really like doing that. I'm just gonna go in with a diagonal eyeliner brush. I don't know what it's called. And I'm gonna be moving into this deeper red pink shade. That is the shade Meteorite, by the way. And I'm just gonna be moving that on my lower lash line. And I'm gonna be trying out that new reverse cat eye smoky liner trend. And I'm just gonna be drawing an eyeliner shape outwards and then moving that shade inwards underneath my eye. So I think the trend is a very fun idea. I just think the black is a bit too aggressive on me, so I personally don't really feel like trying it, but I feel like it might look really cute with these soft pink tones. And I'm just gonna be using that same shade in a very small fluffy brush and then just kind of blending that out. So now I got most of the mattes down, so I'm going into the shimmers. And first of all, I'm going into this purple pink shimmer shade called Milky Way. I'm just gonna be applying that with my fingers on top of my lid. And I think that's a lovely, icy, soft pink shade. Nothing too special, but it still looks really nice. Like that. Very cute, very soft. So I'm just going in with an eyeliner brush again, and now I'm going to put shimmers underneath my eye as well. So I'm going into this reddish shimmer, which has a very pink shine to it. And that shade is called Starstruck. And I'm just going to be applying that under the lower waterline on the inner corner, adding a bit of depth and a bit of sparkle. And I'm just also applying Milky Way, that light pink shimmer, a bit to the inner corner and dragging that onto the lid again. And for the inner corner, I'm going into this flaky shade called Moon. I'm just going to be applying that to the inner corner and dragging that onto the other shimmers as well. Just a very bright inner corner moment. I think I'm done with the eyeshadows for now, so I'm just gonna add all the extra things that I want to add, and then I'll get back to you with the finished look. Hello, I'm back with the finished look. I decided to go fully pink and also do a pink lippy that matched the eye pencil that I used. This type of pink is so nice because it's such a nice soft pink that doesn't scream Barbie. You know, I made it Barbie with the pink lips, you know, that's what I did. But in general, this type of pink, just very soft, doesn't really scream Barbie, and it's just a really nice shade. As you can see, I did the reverse eyeliner thing, and I think with this type of look it works quite well. I kind of like the shape a lot. Okay, so a few face details. I added this eye pencil to my waterline, which is a Miki eye pencil. Don't know what the shade name is, I'm sorry. Also used this on my lips to line it. Then I put on this Essence lipstick, which is the Velvet Matte lipstick in shade 4, which is the shade Hungry Pink. And then for lashes, I'm wearing my Lenny Lash Dazzle lashes, my favorites. For this look, I used the shades Milky Way, Universe, No Gravity, Meteorite, and Moon. So those are 5 shadows done. I love the look. Let's move on to look number 2. Okay, I'm back to do look number 2, and right now we're going to actually dive into the blue shades of the palette. I'm very excited. I want to see what they look like. So we're gonna do that. And I'm gonna use a picture I saw on Instagram as inspiration. I'll link it up here. It's Huda Beauty on Instagram. I love the look. I love the triple wing. I want to do the triple wing. This particular shape, I want to try this with the shades in this palette. I got everything ready to go, and I'm just gonna get into it with this bright mint shade called Evolution. Just gonna be blending that into the crease. That really is a lot of pigment. And I'm just gonna drag that up pretty high and blend it in a bit of a wing shape. And the reason I want to go for that double or triple wing is also because I want to try out a new pair of magnetic lashes. I don't even think I have to bring in a transition shade. This blend is looking all sorts of good. Okay, so I think I have this shape down. So now I'm going in with some concealer and I'm gonna do a fun little cut crease. Let me just do that very quickly for you. Okay, it took me a little while, but the cut crease is on there. So we're gonna jump into the next shade that I'm gonna use from the palette. And I'm first gonna jump into the deeper blue shimmer shade, which is the shade Space. And I'm gonna use a flat concealer brush that I've wetted a little bit. And I'm just going into that shade, working that into that outer bit that we created. The thing I'm noticing most right now is that in the pen this shade seems a bit more greenish tone, so a bit more matching to the mint matte shade, but on the eyes they do seem like very different shades. It's a bit sad because they're the only 2 shades in the palette and then they don't really match that well. And now we're going into the next shade, which is the shade UFO, a purple shimmer, and that one is going right next to that blue. Just gonna apply like a base layer using my fingers, and then I'm gonna use the brush to do the details. And trying to make sure the blue and the purple are a bit blended together. Now we're going on to the final layer of this inner corner portion bit. So we're going into the shade Space, which is a lovely, very light shimmer with very pink and purple sparklies in it. And we're just applying that to the inner portion. I'm gonna be layering it a tiny bit with UFO again, because UFO actually has a bit of a base color, so that will cover up the nude shade of the cut crease. And then on top of that I'll put that other shimmer, because that one does have a bit more of a see-through base. It's a bit more translucent, and I think like that we have a lovely purple to blue gradient going on. To finish up the eyeshadow portion of the look, I'm just going into that mint shade and dragging that underneath the eye and blending it out lightly. I'm actually starting to quite like this with the lower lash line added. I'm kind of in doubt if I should add those triple wings, but I think I should just do it, just to try something new as well. I'm just gonna go and add everything that I need to add, so that crazy eyeliner, lashes, lips, everything, and then I'll get right back to you with the finished look. Okay, I'm back with the full look. Things I added to the look are, first of all, this Mickey eye pencil in the number 8 on my waterline. Of course, I added a black basic eyeliner. I used the same shade Sparkle that I used on the inner corner of my lid, in my actual inner corner and on my brow bone, and as a highlight. Then for lips, I'm wearing this Mickey eye pencil that I always use as a lip pencil. And that's about it. I'm also wearing these magnetic eyelashes that I got at the Action, which are really affordable. This is the final look with the funky triple eyeliner. It looks very different on both sides. It didn't go too well, so please don't pay attention to that. We're just gonna pay attention to one side. The colors just make the look so soft and nice, and the shimmers are very pretty. For this look, I used the shades UFO, Sparkle, Space, and Evolution. And we got a few more shades left to try out, so I'm just quickly gonna move on to the final look. I'm ready to do look number 3, and I think this look is gonna be maybe a bit less special. I don't know, I have some ideas, but the only shades left in the palette that we haven't really touched yet are the neutral shades. So this is gonna be a neutral look, but I do have an idea of making it a bit more fun and special, maybe, but you'll see that in the end. And first I'm going in with this orange shade, which is a lot more neutral swatched than in here. And this is the shade Beyond. So I'm just going in with that and a fluffy brush, and I'm just moving that into the crease. And I'm going for a bit of a halo eye this time. So I'm blending that in a very round shape over the eye, which you can see it's a very lovely soft burnt orange kind of shade. The orange is down, so I'm going in with the deeper burnt orange shade, which is the shade Mars. And I'm just grabbing a smaller fluffy brush and moving that into the outer corners. I don't think it is a lot deeper than the previous shade, but it is gonna give us a tiny bit of depth over here. And that blends into each other perfectly, like absolutely lovely. So I do want these corners to be a tiny bit deeper, and there aren't really any much deeper shades that we haven't used yet, except for this one, which is the shade Dark Matter. And this is probably gonna look a bit weird because it's a bit more cool toned, but I am just gonna try and apply a tiny bit of that in the corners and just see what that does. Just try and deepen it up a bit more. So I'm just applying a tiny bit, but this isn't really working out that well for me. That's fine. On this side it is definitely making the corners a bit deeper, which I love. Perfect, fine. I'm just gonna quickly apply the same shadows underneath my eye. Okay, so I think we got all the matte shades down. First of all, I'm going into this shimmer shade, which is the most deep orange shimmer shade in here. It's very lovely, very pigmented. Along the sides of the center of the lid. Do you understand what I mean? And I'm just going in just to give it a tiny bit of a gradient towards the center again. Then I'm going into the next shimmer shade, which is a bit lighter, which is Light Years. Moving that towards the center, but not entirely in the center yet. And I am moving upwards quite a bit, because I like it when halo eyes are just very blown out upwards. And then I'm going into the final shade that I'll be using, which is this one, just the shade Halo. This is a very strange shade. It seems very wet, but it isn't that wet at all. But it's very, very light and bright and icy. Applying that completely down the center. I think I'm done with all the eyeshadow of the look. I'm just gonna finish up this look, add whatever I want to add. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna add yet, so you'll see in a tiny bit. But I'm just gonna finish this entire thing up and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I'm back. I did something fun and funky with the eyeliner today. I just felt like it. I didn't want to just wear something neutral. I wanted to put a funky twist on it. And this is something I saw someone do on Instagram. I was so sure I saw Jessie do it, but it's not on their page. And now I don't know who did it. I am also pretty sure it saved the video that I saw, but that video is gone. I just can't find it. I was so sure Jessie was the one who posted the video with these squiggles on a blue look. But now I can't find it anywhere, not even in my saved pictures. So if I do find out who it was and I do find the picture, I'll link it down below. And I'll just link Jessie's Instagram down below. Just, y'all need to go follow Jessie. But anyways, I did the squiggles. I thought I'd do like deep brown and orangey squiggles in a very retro way. Just because it would match the eyeshadow and also the dark lip a lot. And I don't know, I think it looks really freaking cute. I just used my basic water-based face paints that I always use as liners, so that's what I used. Then I used the Maximore lipstick in the shade Muffin on the lips. Lashes are by Huda Beauty Erin lashes. For this look I used the shades Beyond, Halo, Dark Matter, Mars, Light Years and Galactic. So that leaves 2 shades unused, which are Comet and Venus, and those are just basic neutral shades. Venus is literally just, I could use that as a face powder, so I'm not really too bothered about those shades. So, I'm always quite impressed by the FAB Factory quality, for the fact that you pay $5 for this palette. Only thing that annoys me is the repetitive shades between palettes. All the shades are absolutely beautiful. Loads of it is cool toned, purple, blue. It's exactly what I'm into at the moment. I used to be into like very much this kind of shade, the very orangey red brown tones. Right now I'm very into purple and green and blue. This palette is very much based off of those shades. It is a Huda Beauty dupe, and it is the only Huda Beauty palette that I've ever been interested in wanting. So I'm glad that I have the dupe of it now, so I can at least have the colors. Maybe one day I can invest in the real thing if this color palette speaks to me a lot. One downside to this palette is the shimmers are very different from the mattes color wise. Like, we have these beautiful colorful shimmers up here, but the blue shimmer is very, very different kind of blue from this minty shade. So the difference is just very, very big, and you have to somehow work with that. Same for the neutral shades. The matte neutrals are very, very cool toned, very pink toned, and the neutral shimmers, like these ones and this one, the ones I used here, are very red and warm toned. Just not everything in this palette matches well together. The other FAB Factory palettes that I have are just a lot more curated and a lot more matching in itself, so it's a lot easier to create a look with just one palette. That's my opinion on this palette. The quality in itself is just decent as always. With a tacky base like a concealer, an unset concealer, all the shades perform very well. They blend very easily, the colors are beautiful, just they don't match very well in and of itself, and that makes creating new looks a bit more difficult, but not impossible. And it's very much a creative color story, as Huda has thought of it. And that's just my opinion on the FAB Factory Galactic Sparkle palette. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. If you want to see even more from me, my blog, my socials, and my gaming channel will be linked down below, so you can check those out as well. And that's gonna be it for today. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Toodles!